Welcome to today's video, where we're diving into one of the most energetic, passionate, and intense signs in the zodiac, Aries. If you know an Aries, you probably already know how much they bring to the table. They're bold, they're dynamic, and they're undeniably full of fire. But, have you ever wondered what happens when you hurt an Aries? If you've crossed an Aries, you might be familiar with the consequences, but even if you haven't, you're in for an eye-opening experience today. Aries are one of the most powerful signs of the zodiac, and their hearts are just as strong as their personalities. But beneath that fiery exterior lies a deeply loyal, compassionate, and fiercely protective nature. So, why should you never hurt an Aries? Well, by the end of this video, you'll see exactly why crossing an Aries can have serious repercussions, and why their hearts deserve to be treated with the utmost care. From their intense emotions to their unwavering sense of justice, Aries are people who will stand by you no matter what, but when they're hurt, the impact is far more profound than you might expect. In this video, we'll walk you through 18 powerful reasons why Aries has some of the most passionate and powerful hearts in the zodiac, and why you should never take them for granted. Stick around, because we're about to break down what makes Aries so uniquely powerful and why you should always approach them with the respect they deserve. If you're an Aries, you'll totally relate to these traits, and if you're not, get ready to gain a deeper understanding of just how truly amazing and strong this sign can be. So, let's jump right in, but before we do, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment letting us know if you've ever experienced an Aries' fierce loyalty or fire. Let's get started. 1. Aries are born leaders. Aries are natural-born leaders. They have a confidence and drive that not only propels them forward but also inspires those around them to follow. Whether it's in their personal or professional life, an Aries never shies away from taking charge. They have an innate ability to make decisions quickly and decisively, often without the second-guessing that others might experience. This leadership isn't about seeking power or control, it's about guiding and supporting others to success. When you hurt an Aries, you don't just challenge them personally, you challenge their natural role as a leader. They take immense pride in their ability to lead with strength and conviction, and if that leadership is disrespected or undermined, the Aries will fight back with everything they've got. Their instinct to protect their sense of authority is strong, and if you cross them, they'll make sure you know they won't back down. 2. Unmatched loyalty. When an Aries commits to someone, whether it's a friend, family member, or partner, their loyalty is unmatched. Once they have chosen to dedicate themselves to someone, they are in it for the long haul, and their support is unwavering. Aries have a deep need to protect and support their loved ones, and they take their relationship seriously. If you hurt them, it's not just a breach of trust, it's a direct attack on their loyalty. Aries will not tolerate betrayal lightly, and when their loyalty is tested, they will not hesitate to walk away from anyone who doesn't return that same level of commitment. They value loyalty above all else and will always fight for the people they care about. If you hurt an Aries, especially someone they have been loyal to, the consequences will be swift and severe because once an Aries feels their loyalty has been betrayed, they can become distant, withdrawn, or even vengeful. 3. Their passion drives everything they do. Aries are known for their passion. It's the driving force behind everything they do. Whether they're pursuing a career, a hobby, or a relationship, they give their all, investing every ounce of energy they have. This isn't something they can control, it's who they are. When you hurt an Aries, you disrupt that passion and energy. They put so much heart into their endeavors, and when someone comes along and takes advantage of their enthusiasm or takes them for granted, it feels like a personal attack. Aries thrive on excitement and new challenges, and when they feel that the people around them don't appreciate their passion or ambition, it can cause deep frustration. They can become disheartened, and if the hurt is severe enough, their once fiery enthusiasm may begin to cool. If you hurt an Aries, you're not just damaging their pride, you're extinguishing the spark that makes them such dynamic, driven individuals. 4. Aries will defend themselves. Aries will never let anyone walk all over them. Their boldness and self-assurance mean they will defend themselves fiercely when they feel disrespected or hurt. They don't shy away from confrontation, they thrive in it. When an Aries feels slighted, they will confront the situation head-on, and they don't hold back. If you hurt an Aries, you'll be faced with a direct response that demands accountability. Their defense mechanism is sharp, and they will stand their ground, regardless of the situation. This self-defense isn't about picking fights, it's about asserting their rights and protecting their emotional well-being. Aries have a strong sense of self-respect and they will make sure that anyone who disrespects them knows exactly where they stand. If you've hurt them, be prepared for a strong reaction, as Aries don't take injustice lightly, and they will fight to make sure their boundaries are respected. 5. They are direct and honest. One of the most admirable qualities of Aries is their directness. Aries don't mince words, they tell it like it is, and they expect the same in return. When an Aries is hurt, they will not hesitate to express their feelings, and you'll know exactly what's on their mind. They don't play games, and they don't do passive-aggressive behavior. When they feel wronged, they speak up immediately, addressing the issue head-on, no matter how uncomfortable the conversation may be. This honesty is something they value deeply, and they expect it from everyone around them. If you hurt an Aries, they won't let it slide, and they will make sure you know exactly what went wrong. While some might beat around the bush or hold back, an Aries prefers to cut through the fluff and get straight to the point. While this straightforward approach might be intense, it's also what makes Aries so reliable. You always know where you stand with them. However, if you hurt them, their bluntness may be delivered with an intensity that can leave you feeling the sting of their words. 6. Aries have a strong sense of justice. Aries have an innate sense of justice that guides almost every aspect of their lives. They believe in fairness and equality, and when they see something that doesn't align with their moral compass, they react strongly. If you hurt an Aries, you're not just challenging them, you're violating their sense of right and wrong. Aries will not stand idly by when they feel something is unjust, and they won't hesitate to speak out or take action. This strong sense of justice fuels their fiery spirit, and it becomes even more evident when they feel personally wronged. They expect honesty, fairness, and respect from the people around them, and when that's not reciprocated, they won't hesitate to call it out. Their reaction can be swift, and it might be intense because Aries doesn't shy away from confronting injustice head-on. Whether it's a betrayal or an act of unfairness, if you hurt them, they will not tolerate it, and you'll feel the full weight of their emotional and sometimes confrontational response. Their strong sense of justice is what makes them passionate advocates for themselves and others, and it's also what makes them a force to be reckoned with when their values are tested. 7. Quick to forgive, but hard to forget. One of the most admirable traits of Aries is their ability to forgive quickly. They don't hold grudges for long, and when someone they care about makes a mistake, Aries are often the first to let go of the past and move forward. However, while Aries may forgive, they rarely forget. Their emotions run deep, and while they might clear the air and reconcile, the sting of betrayal or hurt stays with them for a long time. This doesn't mean they'll bring up past issues constantly, but they will remember how someone made them feel. It's a way for Aries to protect themselves in the future, by learning from the experience. When you hurt an Aries, they may give you a chance to make things right, but don't expect things to return to the way they were. The trust that was damaged takes time to rebuild, and they may not completely let go of the emotional impact you've caused. For Aries, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting the lesson they've learned from the experience. So, if you've hurt an Aries, don't expect them to simply forget about it. They'll forgive you, but their emotional resilience means they won't make the same mistake twice, and they'll approach the relationship with more caution going forward. 8. They don't like being controlled. Aries are fiercely independent, and one of the biggest ways you can hurt them is by trying to control or manipulate them. They value their freedom and autonomy above almost everything else, and when someone tries to stifle that, it feels like a personal affront to their very nature. They are driven by a need to carve their own path in life, and any attempt to limit their choices or dictate their actions is met with strong resistance. Aries won't hesitate to push back if they feel their independence is being threatened. They won't stand for anyone trying to tell them how to live, think, or act. The more you try to control an Aries, the more they'll rebel, often in dramatic, fiery ways. They want relationships and friendships where they are allowed to be themselves, free to make their own decisions without interference. When you hurt an Aries by trying to control them, you not only break their trust but also make them feel suffocated. They'll quickly distance themselves from anyone who tries to dominate their life. It's important to remember that Aries thrive on personal freedom, and when that freedom is restricted, they will not hesitate to walk away from the relationship, no matter how close they once were. 9. Aries are highly competitive. Aries are among the most competitive signs in the zodiac. Their drive to succeed and be the best is deeply ingrained in their nature. They thrive on challenges and love the excitement of being tested, whether it's in their career, personal life, or hobbies. But when you hurt an Aries, you also challenge their pride. Aries are incredibly competitive, and if they feel slighted or disrespected, they may turn the hurt into motivation to prove themselves, often with a vengeance. When they're pushed too far, Aries will fight back, not just to get even, but to show that they are strong, capable, and unshakable. They have a relentless desire to win, and if you hurt them, they'll use that hurt as fuel to push themselves even harder to succeed. This competitive nature isn't just about winning, it's about proving to themselves and others that they are unstoppable. So when you hurt an Aries, expect them to rise up and fight for their dignity. The emotional toll of the hurt may last a while, but their desire to overcome obstacles and prove their worth will be even stronger. They may come back harder, more determined than ever to show that no one can break their spirit. 10. Deep emotional strength. Aries may come across as bold, fiery, and fearless on the outside, but beneath that exterior lies incredible emotional strength. They feel deeply, and while they may not always show it, they have the resilience to overcome whatever life throws at them. When hurt, Aries might retreat into their own world for a moment to process their feelings, but they rarely stay down for long. Their emotional strength comes from their ability to bounce back quickly. They don't wallow in self-pity or let setbacks define them for long. Instead, they harness their pain and use it to fuel their determination to keep moving forward. When you hurt an Aries, they may take time to recover, but rest assured, they will come back stronger and more focused than before. They will never let emotional pain hold them back. Instead, they will use it as motivation to grow and push themselves further. Their inner strength is one of the reasons why Aries are so admired. They may be vulnerable in their own way, but their ability to rise after a fall is something that sets them apart from others. Their deep emotional strength allows them to heal quickly and fiercely, making them a force to be reckoned with in any aspect of life. 11. Unpredictable temper. One of the most distinct traits of an Aries is their unpredictable temper. When they are hurt or disrespected, their fiery nature can flare up without warning, making them react strongly and passionately. They have little tolerance for disrespect or unfairness, and when pushed to their limits, they will express their frustration openly, often in a way that can be intense and emotional. The thing about an Aries temper is that it's quick and sharp, but it also burns out just as fast. While they may seem like they're ready to explode in the heat of the moment, they won't hold on to that anger for long. However, this sudden outburst can be overwhelming for those around them, especially if they've never witnessed the full extent of an Aries' emotional intensity. If you hurt an Aries, prepare for an immediate reaction, but also know that they won't dwell on it for long. The key here is that their anger is part of their emotional expression, and once they've said what they need to say, they're ready to move forward. However, it's important to note that if you repeatedly trigger their temper, it can take a toll on the relationship, as the trust will gradually be broken down. 12. Their independence is everything. Aries thrive on their independence. They value their ability to make their own decisions and carve their own path without being restricted by others. This need for independence isn't just a preference, it's a fundamental part of who they are. When you hurt an Aries, especially by trying to control them or limit their freedom, you're attacking the very core of their identity. They will fight fiercely to maintain their autonomy, and any attempt to manipulate or restrict them will likely lead to a strong backlash. Aries don't like to be tied down or told how to live their lives. They want to be free to make choices based on their desires and goals, not someone else's expectations. If you hurt an Aries by trying to impose your will on them, be prepared for a rebellious and defiant response. They'll break free from any chains you try to place on them, whether emotional or physical, and they'll do so with determination. Their independence is non-negotiable, and if you undermine that independence, you risk pushing them away permanently. It's essential to respect their need for freedom, as Aries flourish when they have the space to grow and be themselves. 13. Protectiveness over loved ones. Aries are incredibly protective of those they love. If you hurt someone they care about, you're not just going to deal with their anger, you'll also face their intense protectiveness. Aries have an innate desire to safeguard the people they hold dear, and this protective instinct can be fierce and unyielding. They will go to great lengths to shield their loved ones from harm, whether it's standing up to someone who's hurt them or stepping in when they see injustice happening. If you've hurt a loved one of theirs, especially without remorse or accountability, you'll quickly see an Aries defend them with everything they've got. Their loyalty to their inner circle is unmatched, and they are more than willing to take on any challenge, no matter how difficult, to ensure the safety and happiness of those they care about. Aries are not afraid of confrontation, especially when it comes to defending their family or friends, and they won't hesitate to confront the person who has wronged their loved ones. Their protective nature is one of the reasons why Aries make such fiercely loyal and reliable companions. They won't let anyone hurt the people they care about, and they'll stand by their side no matter what. 14. Self-respect is non-negotiable. Self-respect is something Aries hold in the highest regard. For them, maintaining their dignity and self-worth is non-negotiable. If you hurt an Aries, especially by disrespecting them or taking them for granted, you're challenging their sense of self. Aries won't tolerate anyone who undermines their confidence or makes them feel less than what they are. They demand respect in all their relationships, and if you hurt them in a way that compromises their self-respect, they won't hesitate to walk away. Aries are not the type to stay in situations where they feel belittled or undervalued. They have a strong sense of pride, and once it's been damaged, it can be very difficult to repair. If you're in a relationship with an Aries, whether it's romantic, platonic, or professional, you need to understand that their sense of self-respect is the foundation of everything they do. Hurt them, and you may find them pulling away, distancing themselves, or even cutting ties completely. It's not out of malice, but rather out of their need to protect their self-worth and emotional boundaries. When an Aries feels disrespected, they don't hesitate to reclaim their power, often by walking away from people who no longer value them. 15. Willing to fight for what's right. Aries are always ready to fight for what they believe in, especially when it comes to what's right. Their sense of justice is strong, and they will not hesitate to stand up for themselves or others when they see an injustice. If you hurt them or wrong someone they care about, you're not just facing a hurt person, you're facing someone who is willing to take action and fight for what they believe is fair. Aries do not shy away from conflict if they believe it's necessary to right a wrong. They will confront the situation head-on, no matter how tough it gets, and they will not stop until they feel justice has been served. This fighting spirit makes Aries one of the most tenacious and determined signs of the zodiac. When they see something that needs to be fixed, they will act, regardless of the risks involved. So if you hurt an Aries, don't expect them to back down quietly, they will fight for what's right, whether it's standing up for themselves or advocating for others. Their boldness and bravery make them powerful allies, but they can also be formidable opponents when they feel that their integrity or the integrity of others is being threatened. 16. Strong sense of purpose. Aries are fueled by a strong sense of purpose that drives everything they do. They are not the kind of people to simply float through life, they have goals, dreams, and a clear vision of what they want to achieve. This deep sense of purpose is what keeps them motivated and focused, even when challenges arise. When an Aries feels hurt, their purpose becomes even more apparent. They channel the pain they experience into motivation to move forward and prove themselves. Their sense of purpose is something that gives them strength, especially when dealing with adversity. If you hurt an Aries, you're not just attacking them emotionally, you're also interfering with their personal mission and ambitions. An Aries will not let anything get in the way of their goals, not even emotional setbacks. They have a fierce determination to succeed, and if they feel hindered by anyone or anything, they will push back with everything they've got. This drive to fulfill their purpose is what makes Aries so resilient. They won't let anyone's negativity or hurtful actions distract them from their ultimate objectives. So, if you hurt an Aries, know that it may be the spark they need to refocus, rebuild, and charge forward with even more intensity than before. 17. They deserve the same energy they give. Aries are incredibly generous with their energy, time, and love, but one of their strongest expectations is that the energy they give will be reciprocated. When you hurt an Aries, you disrupt this balance. They invest a great deal in their relationships, whether it's with friends, family, or romantic partners, and they expect the same level of enthusiasm, support, and respect in return. If you hurt an Aries, you risk losing their trust and loyalty, because they cannot tolerate being in relationships where they give more than they receive. Their commitment and dedication are unwavering, but they also need to feel that the people they care about are equally invested in them. Aries understand that relationships require effort from both sides, and when they feel that effort is one-sided, they are quick to pull back and reassess the relationship. They give their all because they expect others to do the same. If you hurt them, be prepared for them to withdraw their energy completely. Aries don't stick around in situations where they feel undervalued or unappreciated, and they'll quickly move on to people who can match their level of commitment. If you want to keep an Aries in your life, you need to offer them the same level of dedication and passion that they give so freely. 18. Aries can walk away. Aries are known for their independence and their ability to walk away from any situation that no longer serves them. If you hurt an Aries, don't expect them to beg for forgiveness or chase after you to repair the relationship. Once an Aries has made up their mind that someone is no longer worth their time or energy, they will walk away without looking back. This ability to walk away is one of the most empowering aspects of their personality. They don't need anyone's validation or approval to move on, they are more than capable of closing a chapter and moving forward with their lives. Their self-assurance and self-reliance give them the strength to walk away from toxic relationships, friendships, or situations that no longer align with their values or goals. If you hurt an Aries and they feel that the relationship cannot be repaired, they will simply leave. They value their peace and emotional well-being too much to stay in situations that drain them or make them feel unappreciated. This doesn't mean they do it easily, it just means that Aries are wise enough to know when it's time to let go and preserve their own happiness. Walking away is not a sign of weakness, it's a powerful statement that they are unwilling to settle for anything less than what they deserve. In conclusion, Aries are fiercely passionate, independent, and determined individuals who lead with their hearts. While they are capable of incredible love, loyalty, and support, they also have boundaries that should never be crossed. When you hurt an Aries, you're not only challenging their pride and emotional strength, you're also risking the powerful bond they share with you. From their unshakable sense of justice to their fierce protectiveness over loved ones, Aries are people who will always fight for what's right and stand up for those they care about. However, they also know their worth and will walk away from anyone who does not meet their standards of loyalty, respect, and mutual effort. Their independence and sense of purpose drive them forward, and while they may forgive, they will never forget the lessons learned from betrayal. If you've hurt an Aries, it's important to understand that you've challenged their very nature, and the consequences of that could be far-reaching. But if you show genuine remorse and respect for their values, you might just be able to rebuild what was lost. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insights into the amazing world of astrology. See you next time.